And we'll get started with top headlines, which, of course, is the Suns. As they swung a deal with Denver, they moved it down in the first round in the draft last night. And they got the Virginia forward Ryan Dunn, a great pickup. We'll talk about him quite a bit throughout the afternoon. D-backs right now down 1-0 in the top of the second inning as Minnesota's got bases loaded. And it looks like it's deja vu from last night. So not good for the D-backs. But Suns, as we get into that, they traded down, took Dunn at the 28th pick, which was Denver's pick. Pretty excited about that. Now we get to kind of talk about what may happen today because, of course, they do have number 56. There could be some other moves over the course of the next 3 hours. But the way it works today is the draft. It's basically right now on ESPN, and it's the second round. Each team's allotted 5 minutes to select a player, so it'll move pretty quick. 4 minutes. 5 minutes in the first, 4 in the second, and this thing will be over pretty quick. But we'll see what they did. I mean, I think you give them if we're going to do the grade thing, I'm a B. I really like the pick. I mean, really like the pick. And the reason why is I have a buddy who actually is a die-hard Virginia fan. And I talked to him, and
he broke it down for you, did he?
He did. Bruce Bowen. He is a Bruce Bowen type of player. Think about Bruce Bowen. 6 consecutive all defensive first team, second team. Guy averaged 6 points in his career. He's got a ton of rings with San Antonio, but he was a defensive weapon. And this is that guy with Dunn. He is a defensive guy. He played in a slow offense at Virginia. He's very athletic, comes from an athletic family. His brother played for the Reds and the Mariners. I mean, this kid is somebody that if they can use him right, he's a good cutter, and you know what that means, Jimmy B, especially with these shooters.
Yes.
For a team that has plenty of shooters. One of the biggest knocks that Bruce Bowen had when he first started was he couldn't shoot. And then he finally figured out his 3-point. He was that corner guy. Mm-hmm. Wasn't shooting from the top of the key. But if it gets to a situation where this Suns offense has those 3 bigs, right? They're the big 3. And if Dunn can get his shot and the opposing team throw the center on him or whoever because they're worried about the other 3-4 guys, this guy could be a threat. And the way I look at him, and this isn't from what my buddy said who watches this kid on a day-to-day basis, is from when I went and did my homework and watching the guy, I'm like, this guy will be in the NBA a long time.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree with that, Rock. The thing that I find problematic is that they did not go get and hopefully they can do that here in the second round, that they didn't fulfill a backup to Nurkic or a backup type point guard to help run the offense. I will say this, though, about Ryan Dunn. You are absolutely correct. He is a beast defensively, very athletic. I've watched a couple of his games, totally misused at the University of Virginia. You already talked about they crawled their offense up and down the court. They were terrible offensively. But with the run and gun 24-second clock that the NBA is, that will help him because he will get into open space where he will be able to score around the basket. So if his shot from the outside is kind of weak, all right, I'll be honest, it stinks.
It's amazing, though. You hear that all day yesterday, right? And it's this morning, the guy can't shoot. You hear that. I'm like, how can he get picked in the first round? He can't shoot.
I know. But he is a big upside, maybe not the first year, but by the second year of his deal, if he becomes a decent shooter, then that is going to translate into a opportunity to be a star.
And I would concur with that. I kind of watched him and looked at him. I hadn't followed much, but I watched some of his tapes. I was thinking of maybe a Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson kind of long kind of guy that doesn't
6'7".
Yeah, doesn't have the shot. Obviously, I just hope he can develop that shot that we're all hoping to.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're shutting somebody down, defensive assignment, maybe not this year, but eventually you got that guy, you got this guy. That's the offensive side helping on defense. I hope to see that.
And I don't want people saying, Rock, what the hell are you talking about? Bruce Bowen, he's one of the best guys in the league. I mean, his number was tired with the Spurs. But when you look at Bruce Bowen's career and how he was such a defensive-minded guy, he was not known for his offensive production. Well, that's kind of the knock on Dunn right now. And if they can kind of mold him and get him to figure out how to shoot the three, because Bowen was shot about 40%
Well,
in his career from the three, but from the corner.
that's what Budenholzer said about Devin Booker. He said, we're going to have him work on threes. We're going to be a three-shooting team.
Think about Budenholzer.
Budenholzer.
He probably won it. He coached Bruce Bowen.
Yeah.
Maybe he wants a guy like that in his offense.
And the one thing about Bowen, he was Mr. Clutch. I mean, he would hit those
No, he
threes.
wasn't.
He hit those threes,
He was
Rock.
not known as clutch.
He
was not.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry,
No.
Manuch. I totally disagree.
No.
And Jimmy, you disagree.
I do.
Robert Horry was clutch
No, I
for
get
San
that.
Antonio.
Yes, he
but not
was.
Bowen.
No.
Bowen was that defensive guy.
I get it, but I mean, he had some clutch shots coming down the play. Yeah, Robert Horry, big shot Bob. I get that.
That's clutch.
But every once in a while, Bowen in that corner, he would hit a couple that were clutch time. I thought very
Ain't nobody
key.
on him.
Well, but that's okay. I
Because
mean,
it's a similar. You think about it. When San Antonio was so good, they had three really good guys.
They did.
Okay,
They
and that's why I'm thinking that Budenholzer had some say in this pick, a big say in this pick, and maybe this is the kind of guy you're talking about. They want to back up point guard.
Backup
coulda-
center.
Yes, but maybe he said, "Hey, guys, James, we need this.
Yeah.
We
He
need a
could've.
guy.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know what goes on behind the scenes.
I'm not going to argue with the guy. He's been part of championships with that, but I would have preferred, like you, Jimmy, I would have, Kolick, I thought he was there. I thought he would be the guy from the point guard standpoint to bring him in because they've got enough wings per se. And I know they're preaching defense and trying to work that out. But I like
San
Kolick.
Antonio,
I know, but I mean, you're right. As it went, well,
even Milwaukee to a degree.
yeah, as it unwinds, you think of, okay, Budenholzer, San Antonio, Milwaukee. What was that key? You think of Holiday, not quite as big. Another, guy that could score, but he was a breakdown defensive guy that could also make some things happen. So I just sit there and go, I hope they can develop him as a shooter. I'd love to see him do more defense because we didn't see a whole hell of a lot of defense out of this team last year at all.
So they addressed it.
Yeah, I know.
But you guys are saying they need a point guard.
Well,
they need a backup point guard. Which one is it? You can't have both.
I would have preferred a point guard. I think they got enough shooters.
You can get a point guard. Defensive guys are hard to find.
Well,
this league, these guys want to shoot. That's all they want, a running gun. When you got a guy that is all about defense, block shots, steals, he led the ACC in that.
I'd
love this. I love this pick.
Okay, I would have
for
preferred,
what this team needs.
well,
really needs.
And it needs a point guard too, Rock.
Okay, but you got one. Okay, you got
you don't have
one.
You don't have.
But there's nothing. You're not going to get a point guard in the draft. You're not going to get a starting point guard in the draft.
I could agree with that, but I think Kolick could have been a kid you could come in and develop. He could start running the offense.
Develop. So next year, 2 years.
No, but he could come in if he feels they've got 3 or 4 guys that can help him out.
You don't think in the next month or two there are going to be some point guards looking for jobs?
Well, I hope so.
There will be. Every year there is. Last year they just made a mistake and didn't address it.
But the league is all about threes. It's about threes. 3 shooting league. The kid can't shoot threes. He can't shoot that much.
They don't need him to do that. You've got 3 guys that can do that.
Okay.
You don't want 5 guys that shoot 3.
Well, you got Grayson Allen. You got KD, Beal. Booker's not a 3-point shooter.
He's going to put up threes.
Well, we hope he puts some more threes. And Budenholzer wants to work on him with that in the summertime.
Yeah.
I
would rather take a Devin Booker and work on his threes than some rookie point guard that you just drafted that you got to try to mold.
Those guys could help cover for that rookie point guard. I mean, the way he moves
man,
the ball.
I just think if
and
Bruce,
he plays defense too, Rock.
Who does?
Kolick. He's a defensive kid. He plays defense.
I'm just telling you, when you look at this team, what their needs were, backup point guard center. I get it. But if Budenholzer, you got to go by what he has had success with.
I agree.
And that's why I think this guy, and I'd love to talk Budenholzer on the side, say, hey, is this a guy you want to mold like Bruce Bowen? Because I kind of looked at Bruce Bowen. I went back and looked at numbers of the height, the weight. I mean, Dunn's about 15 pounds bigger than Bruce Bowen was in his playing days. But I just think you look at if they can mold him, and I think it's a fair comparison. If they can mold him into a Bruce Bowen type player, a hell of a defensive player, I think this guy's got a career in the NBA a long time because there are tons of guys that just want to be 3-point shooters.
Well, yeah, but that's
their time a dozen.
But I know, and that's what's winning championships. Look at the Celtics. Look at the Bucks when they won. Look at the teams that won the championships. They're all the most efficient 3-point shooting teams.
Now you look at Boston. One of the reasons why Boston won is they had some great depth. They were able when those guys went out, the two superstars. These role players, these guys, these backups were the ones that did the deal, and they played some great defense too. Don't take that wrong. They had a couple guys that just killed it.
I just hope it works. I'm hoping and praying that it works. They can incorporate this kid, get him bigger, stronger, faster, and utilize them in a way that is successful. And Budenholzer would know, this organization would know that's the route they go. Hey, I'm all for it. I just would have preferred to see more of that point that kid can get things going. But best of luck to him. I hope this kid come in, put about 10 pounds on, and go toe-to-toe with
Why does he add more weight? He's like 1 or 230?
Yeah, he's
28.
fine.
He's
He's
good
fine right now. Look, this is a fine pick. I'm not saying it's a great pick, but it is a fine
What can you get in the 20s? I don't know why people get so they lose their you-know-what.
They do.
What can you get at 28? Seriously.
No,
24, 26, whatever.
I read you.
I love the pick.
Okay, but all I'm saying is I believe that you were correct when you said Budenholzer had input in this and told them, we do not defend on the wings well at all. This guy can help us defend on the wing.
And I think it's easier to plug and play a guy like that than a point guard that you're going to have to try to mold for a year
I
or two.
will say this about Kolek. Kolek has played 4 years of major college basketball, and everybody that you talk about says he is going to be a really good NBA player.
Yeah, well, there are a few guys in that draft.
Yep.
Hey, it's Thursday. That means we're broadcasting live from one of the 5 Valley Twin Peaks locations today. It is Scottsdale. We'll be here till 4 o'clock. D-backs are down 6-0 and 2 outs in the top of the second. Not going well for the D-backs. Montgomery just rocked today. We will get you caught up on some of the sounds of the night. Of course, it'll be the draft picks. So if you haven't heard how it all went down with Denver, we'll play those for you next. It's Rock and Manuch with Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910. Clear.
A day to remember. The least anticipated album tour. July 10th, Desert Diamond Arena. A day to remember with special guests. The story so far, 4 years strong, and Scowl. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com and Desert Diamond Arena box office. The wait is over. Don't miss A Day to